Okay, so my phone cut off, storage issues. This is gonna be part two, put it together. Where I left off was I was saying my old man, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna fast forward the story, but my old man went through Vietnam when he was younger. He survived. He ended up getting, a free education. They paid for him to go to school. He went to college and he came out with a good job. And when him and my OG, Mom Dukes, was together and my family was together, my old man had a good gig and they was making, a good living. And what happened was the company he was working with went on strike and he ended up losing and they ended up moving, and we moved to Atlanta because back then Atlanta was starting to have all these new development. You can go down there and you could come up, right? But the relationship and the family didn't survive that move, that transition from being able to, everybody was able to eat, to things getting tight. It's like a drought in the jungle. It's like when you ever watch anything National Geographics in the jungle, or like a safari, all the animals, when there's water, everything is more plentiful. So even though it's still a predator versus prey, everything ain't perfect peaches and rainbows. It's still violence, but everything is more harmonized, so it still works. When it's a drought, when it dry up, you see the aggression of everything changes. It's way more primal. It's way more kill or be killed. Even, where two animals could exist in the same spot, even if it was predator and prey, when things dry up, prey is more scarce and predators on each other. They start the family's unit caves in, like they start even killing their own kids sometimes to survive in different species. So it's like that. I feel like in the family, when the money was when the family and the money was there still was nothing was perfect. Still would have things that was issues, but it was more harmonized. Like, yeah, nobody's perfect, so somebody might have drank too much, or somebody might not cook as good, or somebody grades might not be good, or somebody might be breaking curfew, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe the house ain't clean all the time, but it was working. But when the job situation changed and it dried up, then it kind of imploded, right? So, broken home, no father. 4 years old, I'll never forget. It was in the middle of the night, and he brought me and my two brothers into the living room in the middle of the night. I said, I want to wake y'all up. I want to talk to y'all. I got to talk to y'all. And he told us, it's one of my first vivid memories. He was like, things ain't working out when I'm leaving. I love y'all. I'm leaving, but it's gonna work out. We gonna be together one day, and this, that, and the third. But I remember when he said he was leaving, me being 4 years old, right at 5. I'm not putting that together. I'm thinking, yeah, okay, you leaving, I'm going to sleep. I'm gonna wake up in a couple of days, you'll be back. No, it's not what happened. But anyways, broken home, and then I grow through my life, right? And my point is this, like I said, me and my brother would reflect on when he was there. When I was 4, my brother was 6, and I was 5, and my brother was 7. We was softer. Even though we was kids, well, we was kind of some soft kids. We was sheltered. We was happy. We was innocent. I ain't started doing anything close to criminal activity until I remember moving because everything downgrade. Because one person is gone, 3 brothers and 1 sister, and we start downgrading and things just change. That's when you first start learning how to steal. That's when you first start learning how to lie, because you start getting into more trouble. So you get more bumps and bruises and scrapes, right? And me and my brother, we grew up not, I'm not gonna never sit here and act like I had the worst childhood ever. I'm not gonna play that game where it was just like slums and just, we had kids flipping on a mattress that we dug out of the garbage, out of the dumpster, and we turned it into a trampoline. We grew up where you had to get, summertime, they would bring in little food programs and give you some of the nastiest food to try to, for the kids to eat. You know what I'm saying? But we also had good things too. We was like always teetering, where my mom would work her butt off to kind of keep us at, I don't know what you want to call it, high, lower class. You know what I'm saying? You poor, but you ain't poor. I had friends, always had friends that was worse than us, and always had friends that was better than us. So we was always like power mode. So we was always kind of at the middle of the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Things, sometimes we would be like, when my stepdad come into the picture, sometimes we would make a little bit of a come up, move into a little bit of a nicer environment, had better friends, better school, but we wasn't rocking no J's, no Jordans. We didn't have one of the best clothes. You know what I'm saying? But we never starved to death. But we had to be creative. Peanut butter and jelly, or syrup sandwiches, or just get a piece of bread and smash it up real hard and just, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes we didn't have to get the cheap cereal. Sometimes my mom would be able to get us the Captain Crunch, peanut butter Captain Crunch. You know what I'm saying? So it was just always like, but me and my brother grew up when we went through our teenage years. I think that's, when we kind of reconnected with our pops. But it was always a thing where, it was a balancing act of, my pops was like, he didn't raise us, so he didn't know how to be a father to us, but he just kind of let us do what we wanted to do, and he would kind of just guide us a little bit with what abilities that he had, and I take nothing away from him. It's just that it was just a short amount of time to be able to spend with a pop. So when you a father and a son, I feel like y'all gotta have many, because it's just a lot of time you got to spend with somebody to really develop that relationship, that bond, where y'all damn near can read each other's minds, and it's a lot of love unconditional, and it ain't no issues, it ain't no, it ain't no conflict, it ain't no hate in your heart towards a person, or it ain't no like a lot of times when you're a stranger, when you feel like you're a stranger, or you feel like your pops don't know you. Like I remember when I was 14 and we was moving, got on a Greyhound, moved all the way up to Illinois. And the first day I moved in with pops, he was just welcoming us into the house. Hey, y'all kids, I want y'all to feel comfortable here. I want y'all to, I got y'all a little room. He had took one room in the house and he made it our room. He's like, y'all need anything? Y'all need me to do y'all laundry? And I was like, man, this man don't know me. We've been doing our own laundry. We used to get the starch and put them creases in our jeans. We've been doing our own laundry since we was like 9 years old. He don't know me. You know what I'm saying? So either way, I'm gonna say this. It developed, me and my brother, we had to develop a little bit more. To survive, we had to develop a little bit more of callous and toughness, a shell. You know what I'm saying? And I always felt like if he would have been in our lives the whole time, we would have been a lot more soft with a capital T, because he was so much love. You know what I'm saying? So the question is, because I turned out okay, but I always say, yeah, I developed the toughness to survive. But hypothetically, in another world, what if he would have never left? Maybe I would have been soft, but maybe I would have been way more smarter, way more. Maybe I would have been way more ahead of where I am now, just in my life, just the way I think. Maybe he would have put so much more into me. He could have. What if he would have? Maybe I would have went to get an education and went to. I think I just would have made higher heights. One thing about my pops, like my mom, she was more like, look, just make money. My mom's like, get a job. She wanted that. Matter of fact, when my brother got his first job, she was already like, look, you need to start chipping in. She didn't say it like that, but she kind of insinuated, like, you making some money now, maybe you can start chipping in, you know. But my pops was like more, he would want you to develop your other side that didn't have nothing to do with money. Like, he wanted you to develop your gift. Like, if he thought you was into art, he would when he was around, he would want to pour into your creative side. He would want to pour into your gifts. He wasn't the type that would just tell you, you gotta do this and do this and do this and go. Like, he wouldn't have put you in this systematic mentality of go get a job and go pay bills. My pops would have been like, you can do whatever you want to do. You can be whatever you want to be. I believe in you, and all you gotta do is work on your gift. That's the type of person he was when he was right in his mind. But when he wasn't right in his mind, that's a whole different story, whole different video. I'm not gonna, and like I said, he had demons in his life, right? But I just always question, because I don't have no regrets. I love my childhood. I loved growing up rough. I loved going through everything I went through, from being a boy to being a man. And I love who I am now. And I don't have no regrets in my life. So it's hard for me to fantasize about what would have been if he would have been in our life full time. I always looked at it like, if I would have had my dad my whole life, I don't know if I would have liked the person that I would have turned out to be. If it would have made me softer or spoiled, or like, what if I would have grew up going to school with the shoes I wanted all the time? Like, if I could just go to my dad and be like, Mom said no, Dad, can I get some shoes? And my dad would have bought me the shoes, and I would have went to school and had some Jordans on, and instead of getting beat up and get my shoes taken home and going home crying, like, what if that would have been my life? Like, I remember when people, because I grew up in Decatur, Georgia, I remember people was getting fucked up for starter coats, pullover starter coats. People was getting fucked up. Don't have on no damn Atlanta or no Chicago Bulls or don't have on no starter coat. If you can't fight, you finna get fucked up. I stole my first starter coat pullover. That's how I got my first pullover starter coat. Stole it straight up out the mall, South DeKalb Mall. Walked straight up out the store with it. I never would take that back. I will always cherish that memory of stealing my pullover. There were some kids that didn't have to steal their pullover to go to school, and there were some kids that so dope to buy their first pullover. As I said, I wasn't never that, but I wasn't the one that went to my parents and got a starter pullover coat and went to school and got it took from me. But if my dad would have been in my life, I might have could have been. You don't ever know. Like I said, my dad was he was like he would hug you and kiss you and love you. I think I would have been a little softer. I think I would have been a little spoiler. I think I would have been more entitled. I think if my dad would have been in my life my whole life, I would have never understood what life was supposed to be when you do have to get it the hard way and you grind and like learn how to even ask for stuff. Like I remember learning how to ask for stuff, like when your mom would send you out to your neighbor house and borrow this, go borrow this, we ain't got this, go borrow this, go borrow this, go borrow some sugar, go borrow the ketchup, go borrow this, go borrow it. And I used to be like, that took me, I still don't like to this day, I don't like to borrow from nobody. But if I ever have to borrow from somebody, I know I can swallow my pride, borrow something from somebody, and then pay them back in full. But I feel like some people grew up with both their parents and they just get everything handed to them and they be entitled to shit. And they feel like the world owed them something all the time because they just always got shit just gave to them. They didn't have to work for nothing. And I always appreciated learning how to work for everything I got, plus everything I got that I can't work for, that just God blessed me with, the shit that I know I can't even deserve, that God just blessed me and blessed me and blessed me with. I know how to really, really appreciate it. Because I'd be like, man, I could never even imagine the life I got. And it's like, I understand that this is outside of my power. If I know that God has protected me and helped me through life, and a part of me knows that because of the shit I went through. And I feel like sometimes you parents try to protect you from life. And you can't do that shit all the time. You gotta let people live their life. You can't be putting people in no bubble. So, wrong video, I know. Devin Haney is what inspired this video because he got his dad, but his dad is letting this man box for a living. You can't knock that. You can't say that dude is soft. When he got a son, he recognized the talent in his son. His son liked to fight. He took his son to the gym to see if he could get the fight beat out of him, and his son has risen to the top of the sport. You gotta fucking salute that. You just do. You know what I'm saying? But my question is, in all the households and all across where all these kids is growing up with no fathers and they growing the wrong way. They not me. They not success stories, because I look at my life as a success story. People don't think I'm a success, but I am. Because I know some of the odds that I beat. I ain't no millionaire. I ain't no famous person. I ain't rich. But I'm not a statistic that some of my friends and some of my peers turned out to be, and we all grew up together. So I know I beat some odds that I'm not gonna sit here and just take for granted. So I always, it's a catch-22. It's damned if you do. It's puzzling me right now. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below before I make this video a damn hour long. Because I don't know. That's a good question. I just don't know, because from all I know, growing up, there is some species and animals on this planet that they dads don't raise them. And it's just so happened that, you know, statistics show a lot of black families don't have their fathers in the household. We done seen a lot of documentaries, and we've seen people do the breakdown on how the government planned some of this shit to where they don't want no man in the house, so they aid the woman financially to keep a man out of the house. And we've seen an effect on that culture and that society. And I see even now some of the shit I see with these young boys, I'd be like, when the way I raised my son, to my best ability, to not fall into some of the traps that I see some of these young boys falling into. And I ask myself if they had a father, or what type of father that they should have, because everybody got a father. Nobody got on this planet just through a woman. But what kind of father? I think it's more of than just having a dad or even having parents, but what kind of parents do you have? You know what I'm saying? Because I honestly think with the situation my dad went through in his youth, going through Vietnam, and trying to adjust back to a regular normal life after that, I really think it took what it took to make me what I am. I don't think he would have been able to do it by himself. It took him not being there sometimes. You know, God working ways that's God-like. We think it's mysterious, but that's just God, the way he worked. It took to have a stepdad sometimes. It took to have just the mom, because my stepdad wasn't even around a lot either. Sometimes it took just the moms, because then it made me and my brother know how to do things. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Do y'all think that it's just a proven fact that having a father in the home makes all the difference on what type of a adult man you will become? Maybe to be continued. Maybe this is my last video. Like I said, I try to keep this about boxing and keep my videos like 10 minutes. Nocturnal Thoughts, man. Salute, salute, salute. Wow.